When I was 5 years old, my dad had to rush back to his office after a phone call, leaving my brother to take me home. However, my brother got into a fight with someone and, in the process, I was left alone and ended up being kidnapped, 3 years later, under my brother's influence. My parents adopted another child. 7 years later, I was returned by the police, severely malnourished and frail. The adopted girl, clinging to my mother's arm, remarked, "Why is sister so dirty? She doesn't look anything like our parents." From then on, my parents always seemed displeased with me. Eventually, I died as a result of bullying by the adopted girl, and my parents chose to settle the matter quietly. When I woke up again, I was standing at the gate watching my brother being stuffed into a sack. This time, I decided that I would choose my own brother in this life. When I opened my eyes again, it was the year I turned 4. My parents took my brother and me back to our hometown for tomb sweeping. That's where my brother and I encountered human traffickers. In my past life, it was just outside our house where my brother was first kidnapped by the traffickers. I hid in a pile of firewood and calmly used my smartwatch to take a clear photo of the trafficker's face. After the trafficker left, I quickly called the police and sought help from a neighbor. Thanks to my timely call, the trafficker was caught 5 hours later, and my brother was safely returned. I saved him, but when he came back, he shoved me hard. "You were right there in the house. Why did you hide and not save me?" I hit my forehead on the corner of a table, leaving a scar that would stay with me for life. My parents thought he was just playing around, too young to understand why he suddenly despised me. Later, when I was 5, my parents' business was just starting to do well. They were too busy to pick me up from school and asked my brother to do it. Instead, he left me at the school gate, fiercely telling me, "Walk home yourself, and don't you dare tell on me to our parents." I obediently nodded, watching him happily call his friends to go start a fight. The next second, I was kidnapped by traffickers. By the time I was 12, I finally returned home to find there was no place for me anymore. My brother had convinced my parents to adopt a girl named Xiaoying, whom he was very protective of. Xiaoying disliked me. Where did this ugly girl come from? And she dares to call herself my sister. From then on, I lived a life bullied by my own brother and Xiaoying. At 18, during my college entrance exams, Xiaoying turned off my alarm, and my brother drugged me with sleeping pills. I missed the exam. My parents immediately slapped me. "If you can't even manage your own life, what use are you?" At 24, just as my small business began to thrive, my brother and Xiaoying joined forces to bankrupt me overnight. So you see, why should I go out of my way to save a beast? Better to just sleep well, at least in dreams. Someone might choose to love me. Now, I certainly wouldn't make the same choices again. I continued to hide in the firewood pile, but this time I coldly turned off my smartwatch. Through a gap, I watched as Pei Sheng's mouth was sealed with tape and he was thrown into a meter-tall sack. The trafficker walked away with Pei Sheng. I slowly climbed out of the firewood pile and washed my flawless face clean. Back inside the house, I removed my smartwatch and placed it on the table. Then I went to bed and slept soundly. Pei Sheng was kidnapped. What does it have to do with me? 2. Lizzie, wake up. Where's your brother? Aunt Zhang from next door said she saw you two playing together this afternoon. Where is he now? Kids really do fall asleep easily. Ever since I returned home in my previous life, I never had a good night's sleep. Today, I slept incredibly well, which was rare. Rubbing my sleepy eyes, I felt confused. What are mom and dad talking about? My brother said he was going to the mountains to find you this afternoon. My mom glanced at my dad, and both of their faces changed at the same time. Soon after, I heard the sound of police sirens coming from the nearby village. Several people were whispering in the yard. Aunt Zhang from next door was shouting in response, "I don't know. I saw the kid this afternoon and haven't seen him since." My mom roughly tousled my hair. "Lizzie, be good and go eat your meal by yourself. Mom and dad need to step out for a bit, okay?" I obediently agreed, and my parents hurried out to talk to the police. I followed them a few steps and stood in the yard. The police briefly asked me a few questions, which I answered vaguely. My mom just sobbed, "Where is Aisheng? Where is he?" No substantial news was obtained. The police quickly left and started investigating around the village. Unfortunately, it was too late. It had been 5 hours since the incident in the afternoon. "Pei Sheng, you must stay alive. Please don't die." I gazed deeply at the starry sky over the fields, then I turned around and went home to eat. The police investigation turned up nothing. My parents, exhausted, took me back to the city. I was quiet, well-behaved, and sensible, much more likable than my brother. It seemed they gradually forgot about Pei Sheng's existence. They went from visiting the police station once a month to not even thinking about it for a year. Now, I am 7 years old. Recently, my mom had some free time and took me to an amusement park. However, she had to leave after receiving a call for work, and I almost got lost again. Afterward, my mom suggested adopting a child to take care of me, which was a great idea, since my naturally wicked brother had been kidnapped. In this life, I would choose a brother I really wanted for myself. My parents took me to the largest orphanage in the city. The head of the orphanage, seeing their expensive attire, happily handed them a list of children available for adoption for my parents to choose from. My parents flipped through the list, Nodding in satisfaction, the director arranged for a staff member to take me to the play area while they went to meet the child they were interested in. After the staff member arranged everything, they left me alone. The slide was just right for a little child, but for someone mentally in their 20s like me, it was quite childish. I lifted my little legs and started wandering around the orphanage. Outside a sports equipment room, I heard cursing voices. Entering, I saw a group of children kicking and hitting a boy, with a girl's shrill voice standing out. Beat him up. Ever since he arrived, everyone coming to adopt specifically asks for him, leaving us no chance at all. What are you afraid of? He was just adopted last week and returned in a week. Exactly. He even caused his own parents' deaths. He must be a jinx. I found a hidden corner, unable to see the boy on the ground clearly, but I could see the leading girl very clearly. She was shorter than me, chubby, with dark skin. The group of abusive kids didn't notice me spying and continued to crowd around the girl excitedly. Zhao's sister, I heard a very wealthy family is coming today. We have to stop him, otherwise, we'll miss our chance again. The girl known as Sister Zhao looked young but was exceptionally vicious. She kicked the boy on the ground in the abdomen. Don't worry, it'll definitely be me this time. A thought struck me, and I stared intently at Sister Zhao as she turned to the side, getting a clear view of her face. Zhao Ying, it was her, in my past life. The experience of her framing me was still vivid in my memory. Since my rebirth, I had resolved to make her and Pei Xing suffer immensely in this lifetime, but I hadn't expected to encounter her here. Seeing Zhao Ying about to continue her violence, I hurried over. I kept my head down, not daring to look at her, appearing completely at a loss. Sister Zhao, someone's come to adopt a child. The director is calling for you. It must be to adopt me. Zhao Ying's eyes suddenly lit up, and she was about to rush out. As she passed by me, she bumped into me like a bear, then she stopped abruptly, staring intently at my wrist. Where did you get that thing you're wearing on your hand? I looked down at my deliberately exposed smartwatch, my face full of fear. A watch was a luxury for any child in the orphanage, let alone a smartwatch, but just because she hadn't seen one didn't mean Zhao Ying couldn't recognize its value. I immediately shrank back, trembling, as Zhao Ying grabbed me along with a group of kids. This was given to me by a lady who came to see the director just now. Given to you? Impossible. It must have been meant for me, and you kept it for yourself? I'm sorry. It was meant for Sister Zhao. I remembered wrong. My voice trembled, and Zhao Ying, satisfied, yanked the smartwatch from my wrist. Then, like a gust of wind, she hurried out. I could only smell the sour stench she carried, which was quite nauseating. Once the children in front of me had dispersed, I quickly went over to help the boy who had been lying on the ground covering his head. I couldn't tell his age. His complexion was sallow and his frame was slender, from his calves to his arms, to the forehead on his face. He was covered in bruises of all sizes. Brother, are you all right? As I helped the boy up, my eyes began to redden. The boy, however, panicked first, patting my back stiffly to comfort me. It doesn't hurt. He hesitated before pulling out his hand from his embrace, clutching a piece of crumbled bread. Sister, I've got something tasty for you. Will you smile for me? I let out a laugh. How sincere he was. The bruises on the boy's body were purplish, his hair and clothes were dusty, and his cheeks were hollow, cheekbones prominent, yet even so, his eyes were still bright. I carefully pinched the crumbs of the bread and licked them off my fingers. It tastes good. Seeing that I liked it, the boy tried to stuff all the bread into my hands. I carefully held it up to him. You eat too. I'm not hungry. The boy swallowed but shook his head resolutely. Through a mix of coaxing and persuading, I finally got him to eat the bread with me. I tugged on his sleeve. Brother, what's your name? I'm Jiang Zhao. And I'm not a jinx.
Yeah.
Brother Jiang Zhao is so good. Definitely not a jinx. I asked him with wide, eager eyes. Brother Jiang Zhao, do you want to eat delicious food every day and not be bullied? Jiang Zhao sincerely nodded his head. I do. I took his hand and led him to the front yard. Then come with me. Obedient, honest, and just like me, he dislikes Zhao Ying. Truly the perfect choice to be my brother. By the time I returned to the playground, it was already crowded with people. As soon as my mom saw me, she immediately hugged me. Little pair, where did you go? You scared me to death. What happened? Why are your clothes and hair all messy? Because my mom came over. Jiang Zhao immediately let go of my hand. I turned around, and he had already disappeared. With a long sigh in my heart, he really was too obedient. I immediately burst into tears. Somebody bullied me just now. They stole my watch, kicked me, and pulled my hair. My mom looked at my self-messed hair covered in mud. The marks on my wrist were also clearly visible. My dad immediately became furious, his tone grave as he turned to the orphanage director. What on earth is going on? Is this how you teach the children at your orphanage? I really don't know what happened, the director stammered, trembling. The scene was chaotic for a moment. My mom held me and consoled me, while I pointed at Zhao Ying and began to cry out my grievances. It was her. I just saw her bullying someone else, then she stole my watch. The other kids all call her Sister Zhao. My mom gave Zhao Ying a cold look, then turned back to the orphanage director. I thought this child was all right, But now it seems I was completely mistaken. It's frightening that the orphanage is raising a child who bullies the weak. Zhao, who was originally holding a gift bought by my mom, suddenly panicked. No, sister, look carefully. It wasn't me, I could clearly name her, and the watch on her wrist was indeed my phone watch. All these were enough to prove we had met before, and that Zhao was responsible, now. No one listened to her excuses. My mom gently rubbed my head and comforted me softly. Little pear, it's mommy's fault, I was wrong. I'll find you another playmate, okay? I shook my head, let go of my mom's hand, and after a quick turnaround, I precisely grabbed the hem of Jiang Zhao's shirt. Mom, I want this brother, I said with a smile. Brother just protected me, I like him. No, sister, I'm your sister. Mom just decided to let me be your sister, just as my mom was about to agree. Zhao suddenly lunged out and forcefully grabbed my wrist. Just as she was about to pull me to the ground, Jiang Zhao stepped in front of me, holding me tightly. Before I could fall, he cushioned me with his body. Despite Zhao Ying's dissatisfaction and pleading while pulling on me, Jiang Zhao kept me tightly protected. When the director angrily pulled Zhao away, my parents were even more displeased with her. Directorly, such a biased child, if left unchecked, will negatively impact your orphanage in the future. Our family has also decided, we will adopt this little boy. Also, after causing such a scene and scaring our daughter like this, please, Director Lee, give my daughter an explanation. Director Lee glanced at the still screaming Zhao, then sheepishly nodded in agreement. I quickly pulled Jiang Zhao up. I made sure to check if he had sustained any brain injuries. It was only after confirming that he was fine that I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Jiang Zhao seemed a bit embarrassed, fidgeting with the corner of his clothes. I didn't realize it was you, this kid can be so stubborn. I quietly leaned in closer to Jiang Zhao. Brother Jiang Zhao, no one blames you. Don't worry, brother, I'll protect you from now on, no one will dare to bully you. Jiang Zhao seemed even more nervous. Okay, I will protect you too. Jiang Zhao is 3 years older than me, and my parents are very pleased with him. We go to school together. Having grown up in an orphanage, Jiang Zhao had a poor educational foundation, but he was quick-witted. And after being tutored at home, he picked things up quickly. I, on the other hand, never revealed that I already knew everything taught at school. My grades were above average, sometimes even topping the class. Growing up with Jiang Zhao, he could clearly sense that my way of thinking was different, but he never questioned it. When we were 11, our family moved. Thanks to my advice over the years, my family had capitalized on the new media boom and made a fortune. With money comes the desire to climb higher. And my parents were no exception. As for Pei Shang, they both wanted and didn't want to find him. It was like facing me in a past life. A child who had been wandering outside for over a decade would have a mindset and perspective far different from ordinary people, especially compared to me and Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao and I were visibly outstanding over the years. Not only did we excel academically, but we were also skilled in various learning disciplines. This was enough to bring pride to their faces and elevate their company's status. If Pei Shang returned, what choices would they make? That was something my parents didn't want to face and deliberately avoided. Time flowed like water. Pei Shang was brought back to our home by the police during my last semester of senior year. I had just returned from the school lab when the atmosphere at home had completely changed. Pei Shang was embracing my mother, crying loudly enough to shatter the heavens. My mother stood there awkwardly, neither returning the hug nor speaking. After all, Pei Shang was in a sorry state. Due to chronic malnutrition, he was thin, his cheeks sunken, and he was under 5'7". He was wearing a construction uniform covered in mud stains, with a tattered helmet placed on the expensive marble table. Zhao Ying saw me come in and immediately rushed over, taking over the housekeeper's duties to help me take off my coat. Sister, you're back. I glanced at her without saying a word. The year after we had adopted Jiang Zhao, the orphanage closed down. The orphanage had long been neglectful and even abusive towards the children. When this was exposed that year, it caused a huge social uproar. With nowhere to go, Zhao Ying had no choice but to work as a child laborer. Without my intervention, her life was miserable. So, after she became an adult, I kindly offered her some benefits, hoping to bury the orphanage incident. Zhao Ying didn't suspect anything and thought I was acting out of guilt. Her ambitions were not small. She often came to our house to show her affection, always affectionately calling me a sister. I neither refused nor agreed. I was waiting for today. Sure enough, hearing Zhao Ying call me sister, Pei Shang immediately widened his eyes in disbelief and looked towards my mother. Mom, who is she? Don't you love me anymore? Is that why you haven't come to see me for so many years? Pei Shang cried, his tears staining my mother's clothes. My mother signaled to the nanny with her eyes. And the nanny immediately stepped forward to grasp Pei Shang. Master Pei, the lady is very tired today. Now is not the time for pleasantries. Let me take you upstairs to change your clothes. My mother smiled kindly. Shang, let's talk later. Go upstairs first. Zhao Ying wanted to continue speaking, but I gave her a look, and she obediently followed upstairs. Auntie, Sister Pei, I'll go up and help brother. My mother sighed with relief and pulled me to sit down. Shaoli. Your brother has finally come back, why do you seem unhappy? I chuckled inwardly. It wasn't that I was unhappy, clearly, it was you, Mom, who was unhappy and just making conversation, but I still had to keep up appearances, so I forced a smile with a furrowed brow. Mom, I'm really happy that brother is back, but Mom, what do you and Dad plan to do about brother Jiang Zhao? My mother held my hand firmly, her tone allowing no objections. Little Jiang has long been a part of our family. We can't just deal with him, don't worry about it. Also, I know you're kind-hearted, but be cautious with Xiaoying, it's too obvious what she's after, don't bring just anyone into our home. I gave a dry laugh in agreement, but before I could speak, I was interrupted. Mom, have you adopted a new child and decided you don't want me anymore? Pei Sheng, his hair still foamy, held a family photo of me, Jiang Zhao, and our parents, and loudly questioned. I looked at him, now wearing Jiang Zhao's clothes, and my gaze turned cold. Pei Sheng, who allowed you to wear that? My mother's tone rose sharply. After all, our family knew that Jiang Zhao didn't like others touching his personal belongings. Zhaoying followed behind Pei Sheng, tears falling pitifully. I'm sorry, Auntie. I should have watched over brother Pei better, she said, batting her eyes flatteringly at me. Pei Sheng stared with wide eyes in disbelief, his dark face looking particularly fierce. Mom, I'm your biological son, why are there 2 more people in the house when I come back? What am I to you, Mom? My mother massaged her temples, looking extremely irritated as the nanny and Zhaoying hurried over. Sheng, be good, let the nanny take you to bathe and change clothes, we'll talk about the rest later. Pei Sheng, oblivious to the mood, shrugged off the nanny and rushed to my mother. Mom, what is going on? I've been wandering outside for 20 years, a whole 20 years. I finally come back, and why do you adopt a child to replace me, and even scold me for his sake? Zhaoying also spoke up. Auntie, it's my fault, I shouldn't have appeared here, I made brother Pei misunderstand. What are you? This is not your place to speak. Pei Sheng grabbed her neck, furious. It's all because of you wretches taking away my parents and stealing my life. Enough. The room erupted into chaos, and my mother's decades-long gentleness finally cracked. Why all this chaos as soon as you return? Can't the house accommodate you anymore? Mom, Pei Sheng was in disbelief, his eyes brimming with tears as he looked at my mother. It seemed like he had realized something, and suddenly turned his head to glare at me fiercely. Was it you, Pei Li? Did you instigate our parents to adopt a child, purposely pushing me out? Furious, Pei Sheng charged at me, frame in hand, ready to throw it at me. It's all your fault, you wretched woman, go to hell. Be careful, Li. A faint scent enveloped me, and a shadow fell in front of me as someone stepped in to shield me. I looked up and saw Jiang Zhao, whom I hadn't seen for nearly half a year. I had been busy with graduation and the new company, and he had gone to Germany for further studies in finance. My mom came back today mainly because both Jiang Zhao and I were coming home for the holidays. When he first arrived, he told me he loved music and wanted to study it, but I had subtly hinted otherwise before he applied, and he had rejected the idea. Some passions must be relinquished at certain moments, while others must be guarded for a lifetime. Student Pei, have you finished your assignments? Still got time to worry about me? Jiang Zhao had started calling me various nicknames ever since he returned to the Pei family to be my brother, from Li, Little Pear, to Student Pei. He had a myriad of messy nicknames for me, but he never formally called me his sister. After all, I had lived a lifetime already. I quickly realized he might be confused about his feelings for me. I had hinted more than once, but he turned a deaf ear. Just like when he chose finance for college to be able to help me in the future, he didn't say it, but he kept doing it. A piercing scream snapped my wandering thoughts back to reality. It was my mom's voice. Jiang Zhao turned around, his gaze filled with a steadfast sense of security as he held my waist. Before I could react, he turned and crouched down immediately. Call 120, and Lon, get the first aid kit to bandage Aunt Fu. Only then did I see my mom bleeding from her forehead, a blood-stained frame lying next to her. Pei Sheng stood trembling nearby, a mix of shock and fear on his face. I instantly understood, Jiang Zhao's hurried return had served multiple purposes. Not only did he protect me, but he also threw Pei Sheng off balance, accidentally causing him to hit my mom on the head. I immediately took the first aid kit the maid brought to bandage my mom. Pei Sheng, coming to his senses, moved closer. Mom, I didn't mean to do it. Believe me, it was all because he suddenly showed up. My mom closed her eyes in pain, too weary to even look at him. On his first day back, Pei Sheng had turned the house upside down and even got my mom sent to the hospital, which infuriated my dad to the point of almost throwing a vase at his head. If I hadn't stopped him, we would have lost 2 million for nothing. Calling 120 was also part of Jiang Zhao's act to show how much he cared for my mom. After we returned home that day, my mom warmly asked about me and Jiang Zhao. Pei Sheng sat awkwardly in the corner. He tried to join the conversation several times, but since he couldn't understand anything, he ended up just awkwardly sitting there. Regarding Pei Sheng's accommodation, my mom was already too headache-ridden to discuss it, but Pei Sheng kept hinting, annoying them to no end. Jiang Zhao, with a slight frown, graciously spoke up, "Auntie, why not let my brother stay in my room? After all, I am the older brother." Pei Sheng was dissatisfied. "What do you mean, give your room to me? That was originally my room. You should just leave." My mom's brow furrowed again, and I seized the moment. "Brother, to outsiders." Jiang Zhao is still the adopted son of the Pei family, letting him leave abruptly. What would others think of our family? Moreover, to outsiders, it is my brother who has appeared out of the blue, making our family seem unkind. My father looked at me with a hint of admiration. Pei Sheng was so angry that he was gasping for breath, but he didn't speak up in the end. Everyone noticed his subtle reaction, but no one pointed it out. I continued, "How about this? Our family has always been running a scholarship program. We can use this as a pretext to have both Zhao and my brother stay at our home. When the time is right, we can then announce my brother's identity." Except for Pei Sheng's dissatisfaction, everyone was very pleased with my suggestion. My mother even had the nanny prepared guest rooms for the two of them. Zhao, thrilled, came to me in the middle of the night to pledge her loyalty. "Sister, don't worry. I'll definitely help you drive Pei Sheng away." I patted her hand sympathetically. "Zhao, I really do want to acknowledge you as my sister, but as you saw today, my brother," her eyes flickered, as if envisioning herself as the future lady of the house. "Sister, it's okay, I don't mind. As long as I can be with you, I'm willing to do anything." I gave her an approving look. "By the way, the C family sent over some new clothes the day before yesterday. I'm not used to them. You can have them." A flash of resentment passed through Zhao Ying's eyes, but then she quickly said some flattering words and left. It was time to end this charade with her. I was already fed up with her. That evening, Jiang Zhao came into my bedroom after his shower, seeing me reviewing documents. He leaned over the back of my chair and pulled my laptop towards him. "What's this argument that has our little Pei student so troubled? Let me have a look." After reading the paper, Jiang Zhao began to teach me how to write the argument. Just like before, when I ventured into a new field, he would understand everything first, then break it down and explain it to me meticulously. I smirked. I was very satisfied with the brother I had chosen in this life. As for Pei Sheng, let him wait for his damnation. The holiday was quite long, and both Jiang Zhao and I were a bit busy. Pei Sheng was even busier, although he is 2 years older than me. His education level was still at primary school. To help him catch up, my mother had Jiang Zhao find him 7 or 8 tutors for daily lessons. Zhao had ill intentions and even worse grades. I gave her a few reminders. "Zhao, my brother will definitely be recognized as a sponsored student by my parents in the future. I treat you like a real sister. And to be honest, I don't like my brother. If someone could make him disappear, I'd definitely welcome her into my family. If that person were you, how wonderful that would be." I didn't care if it made sense or not. I was just manipulating her, and sure enough, Zhao believed it. The next day, she shamelessly acted coquettish with my mother, wanting to attend class with Pei Sheng. I casually mentioned it, and my mother agreed. After just a few days of tutoring, Zhao suddenly appeared before my mother covered in bruises. "Auntie, I don't want to study anymore. If you want me to leave, just tell me directly. I won't bother you anymore," she sobbed, hinting at something more. "Auntie, you did sponsor me, but there was no need to indirectly bring someone to humiliate me." My mom was shocked and inspected the scars to confirm they were real. When she questioned the tutor, he mumbled and couldn't give a clear explanation. Disbelieving, my mom called Pei Sheng over. Jiang Zhao and I leaned over from the second floor, eavesdropping on the drama. As soon as Pei Sheng appeared, Zhao glared at him fiercely. "Pei Sheng, I've had enough of you. Today, I must get an explanation one way or another," she declared. I smirked. Pei Sheng, with his straightforward mind, still had no idea what was happening. "Mom, what's going on? Why did you call me down here? And you, Zhao, why are you yelling at me? This is my house, not yours." Zhao Ying's shoulders shook as she cried bitterly. "You won't admit it. You won't admit it. Fine, then I might as well die." She moved to slam her head onto the marble table, but was caught by the maid. My mom, gasping for air, slapped Pei Sheng across the face. "How could I have given birth to someone like you? Go apologize to Zhao." Pei Sheng looked at my mom in disbelief. "Mom, I didn't do anything. Why should I apologize?" Zhao continued to scream. "I might as well be dead." The house was once again in chaos, unseen by others. Jiang Zhao squeezed my hand. "The actor we hired is quite good." I smirked. In my past life, Pei Sheng protected Zhao, and they both bullied me together. This time, watching them turn on each other was genuinely more interesting. In the end, Pei Sheng still refused to apologize. After my dad found out, he decisively sent Zhao away. He gave her a card and told her not to spread rumors outside. Ultimately, she was abandoned by our family. Pei Sheng, slandered by Zhao, was furious. He somehow learned how to spread Zhao Ying's scandals online, accusing her of being a thief and stealing from our home. Pei Sheng deliberately brought this to my mom's attention, and she immediately called the police. The police investigation confirmed that many items such as necklaces, bags, and clothes were missing from our home and found in Zhao Ying's apartment. Overnight, Zhao incurred a huge debt. she wanted to target Pei Sheng. But my dad firmly suppressed her efforts. Zhao Ying was nearly breaking down. When Zhao Ying came to me again, all I could do was sigh. It's not that I don't want to help you, but you know, Pei Sheng is still my biological brother. After this incident, Pei Sheng's arrogance soared. Now that Zhao Ying was gone, his underhanded tactics at home gradually irritated my mom. He wanted our family to acknowledge his status, but he simply wasn't up to the mark. My mom disdained him. My dad asked him to wait. Even the tutor couldn't help but complain to me, "Miss Pei, is he really your biological brother? It's just a simple formulaic problem, and I've explained it 5 times, yet he still doesn't get it." I smiled and kept my opinions to myself. Even if everyone looked down on Pei Sheng, as long as he was male, he would have inheritance rights. This was something I overheard one day when my dad was talking to the company's lawyer. I made sure this piece of information quietly reached my mom's ears. Furious, she cancelled Pei Sheng's tutoring the next day, telling him to follow online videos for self-study. Pei Sheng clearly felt my mom's coldness and began trying to please my parents in various ways, including making handmade gifts, doing dishes again. But when compared to Jiang Zhao earning 3 million for the company during his internship and my initial success in stock trading, where I made 500,000, it all seems rather trivial and unimpressive. Pei Sheng could feel that he was not favored at home, yet, he could only blame Jiang Zhao and me for his faults. Unable to achieve any notable success, he proposed starting his own company to try his luck. After several tantrums, my father reluctantly found him a small company. Unexpectedly, that small company began to thrive. Decisive and ruthless in his methods, he somewhat resembled my father in his younger days. My father became cheerful at home, praising him for several days in a row. Pei Sheng was practically strutting around. He looked at me with disdain in his eyes. "Pei Li, just you wait. If you hadn't stolen my life, I could have been living in wealth and luxury by now. My parents are starting to see me in a new light. You're finished. Sooner or later, the Pei family will be mine, and you'll be out." I covered my mouth, snickering. "But Pei Sheng, you're just a beneficiary of the Pei family now." Pei Sheng exploded in anger. "This is all you're doing. You just want to make me look bad." That evening, Pei Sheng demanded at the dinner table that my parents hold a recognition banquet. My father frowned, yet his eyes showed approval. My mother looked troubled. "Mom, what are you hesitating for? I'm your biological son. Don't you want to acknowledge me? How about it, Ailey, Jiang Zhao? What do you think?" I smiled just right. "Mom, since brother has spoken, let's do it. After all, brother wants to make up for the regrets in your heart, doesn't he?" Jiang Zhao remained as calm as ever. "I have no objections." Pei Sheng immediately beamed with joy. "Exactly, it was originally mine. You took it away and now it's only right to acknowledge it." My mother frowned, glanced at my father, but eventually agreed. Pei Sheng was overjoyed. That night, he was swaggering all over the house, even coming up to me to gloat. "Pei Li, I'll see how you cry when the time comes. Mom and Dad have agreed. The recognition banquet will be held soon. I'll invite many people. I'll be the center of attention and you'll just be invisible." I smiled, lightly tapping send on my phone. The prepared message was delivered to Zhao Ying's hands. "Brother is so confident. Then I wish you success." Pei Sheng scoffed. "We'll see, soon." The day of the recognition banquet arrived. At my suggestion, we didn't reveal Pei Sheng's identity at first. I advised my father, "Brother is appearing as a beneficiary, and many people will surely disapprove. Why not let everyone see brother's capabilities first, then reveal it?" My father agreed. I smiled sweetly. "Thank you, Dad." My father sighed. "Ailey, you are the smartest in the Pei family and the most beloved by Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad trust you. With you here, your brother will surely uphold the Pei family." I nodded. "I know, Dad." Then I turned my head, my smile fading. "Use me and then pass the buck." "Sorry, I disagree." The recognition banquet began. People mingled, all discussing when the Pei family had gained another child. Some people quietly gauged my expression, wondering what to do as they conversed. I simply ignored them as if it was just wind passing by my ears. My father stood in the center of the lobby, microphone in hand, discussing the difficulties of searching for Pei Sheng. Then, he swiftly changed the topic. "Fortunately, the heavens have blessed the Pei family, and Pei Sheng has returned home." In just a short span of 6 months, Pei Sheng has taken a company public, showcasing his brilliance. "I hereby declare that Pei Sheng will be the future of the Pei family." As he spoke, the real-time stock index of Pei Sheng's company flashed on the large screen behind him. Before anyone could even praise him, the stock index plummeted to rock bottom. My parents watched the screen, their faces filled with horror. This was the gift Jiang Zhao and I prepared for everyone, to lift Pei Sheng to the highest point only to then let him crash down hard. The crowd was in an uproar. "What's going on? Is this some kind of joke today?" "Not funny. Is this what you call smart? He's nothing compared to the young Miss Pei." "Seriously weak." Jiang Zhao, who had quietly appeared beside me, and I exchanged knowing looks, a tacit understanding built over many years. Then, I pinched my thigh and walked over to my father in feigned panic. "Dad, my brother is missing." "Missing?" My parents immediately panicked. The whole venue erupted into chaos. Don't worry, Mom and Dad. I just saw Pei Sheng in the lounge. He should still be there. Jiang Zhao steadied my shoulder, just as my mother rushed over, hearing this. They hurried off again. I played with my hair and looked down, watching the guests. Don't worry, everyone. My brother seems to be held up in the lounge. It will be sorted out shortly. People love gossip. Hearing my words, they immediately responded, Miss, maybe your brother is in trouble. Why don't we go check it out? Maybe we can help. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. The crowd swarmed to the lounge. Soon, my parents' curses could be heard. Along with a girl's sobbing and a boy's panting, the guests, faces full of gossip, hurried forward and saw Pei Sheng and Zhao Ying in the lounge amidst a scene of chaos and intimacy, with Pei Sheng still gazing foolishly at Zhao Ying. Ah. My mother slapped Zhao Ying across the face. Have you no shame? We supported you, and you seduced Pei Sheng. No, auntie, please let me explain. Zhao Ying pleaded in panic, turning pale when she saw me. It was all Pei Li's doing. She told me she was going to officially make me her goddaughter today, so I came. Tears welled up in my eyes. Zhao Ying, I treated you like a sister. How could you slander me like this? When you accuse someone, you need evidence. Do you have any proof it was me? In agitation, Zhao Ying immediately pulled out her phone, opened a text I sent her the previous night, and made a call. The next second, Pei Sheng's phone rang. Silence fell around us. How foolish. Not even realizing when the phone contact was changed, Pei Sheng finally came to his senses, embarrassingly covering himself, pleading with my parents. Mom, Dad, believe me, it wasn't me. I don't know what happened. I just suddenly lost consciousness. That message wasn't sent by me. It wasn't me. Slap. The surrounding guests pointed at Pei Sheng and laughed behind their hands, some even taking photos with their phones. My father, in silence, slapped him and then apologized to all the guests. I'm sorry. Today the two sponsored students from the Pei family have caused you all a bit of trouble. I will personally come and apologize another day. The guests, being familiar with the social circles, understood what he meant and discussed quietly as they left. Suddenly, Pei Sheng sat down on the ground, stunned, then glared at me malevolently. I was taken aback. That look in his eyes, I had only seen it in him in a past life. So, he was reborn. What of it? Everything has settled now. Pei Sheng's company went bankrupt. Pei Sheng's reputation was completely ruined. Pei Sheng was expelled from the Pei family. Although my father was somewhat reluctant, but I became the definitive heir of the Pei family. Pei Sheng hated me and Zhao Ying to death. Zhao Ying hated me but also pleaded with me. Because Pei Sheng, like a mad dog, relentlessly pursued her, Zhao Ying was almost driven mad. I didn't care. One early morning, Pei Sheng kidnapped Zhao Ying. He took her to the suburbs, threw her onto the road, and tortured her nearly to death by kicking and beating. In the end, he crushed Zhao Ying into a pulp. Once the news broke out, it caused a huge uproar online. Pei Sheng disappeared for a couple of months. The police were on a manhunt but never caught him. By the end of the year at the Pei Corporation's annual meeting, I was officially appointed to the company. Previously, I wouldn't have been allowed to enter the company. Even though I had helped my parents a lot and had exceptional abilities, even though I had started my own company, which wasn't small, I still wasn't allowed. But now, I was the only one left in the Pei family. My parents had no choice but to rely on me. They had only one request. My company was to acquire the Pei Corporation. I agreed without hesitation. What did size matter when it would all be mine? At the annual meeting, my father elaborated a lot. Finally, he introduced me. Pei Li, my daughter, will officially join as the president of Pei Corporation next year. The applause from below was enthusiastic, and I saw Jiang Zhao looking at me with a smile in his eyes. A warmth flowed through my heart, and the next moment the venue erupted into chaos. A man dressed in black, wearing a cap, burst in. He had a knife and charged straight towards the stage. Seeing my mother, he raised the knife and then brought it down. The knife plunged deeply into her body. Then it was my father's turn. I turned and ran, attracting his attention. He looked up, his gaze ominously fixed on me. Pei Li, he charged at me with the knife, but the next second someone hit him on the head with a stick. Pei Sheng's forehead immediately started bleeding, but he still fixed his gaze on me. Jiang Zhao struck his legs again, and took a moment to look up at me. Sorry Li, I went to find a stick. Finally, the police and ambulances arrived together. My parents were rushed into the ambulances. Pei Sheng's hands were cuffed, and he was put into a police car. Even as he was taken away, Pei Sheng still glared, his eyes bloodshot and filled with ferocious resentment. Pei Li, I will kill you, just you wait. He couldn't finish his sentence before the police dragged him away. I followed the ambulance. Jiang Zhao followed me closely. I held his hand until my parents were taken to the emergency room. I then asked Jiang Zhao, do you know why I came with you? He leaned close, his warm breath on my ear. We are here to see the wicked get what they deserve. I smiled, relaxed. The lights in the operating room suddenly went out, and the doctors apologized regretfully. I hooked Jiang Zhao's pinky. Brother, will you join me in taking over the Pei Corporation? It would be my honor. Jiang Zhao bowed, making a gentleman's gesture. I placed my hand in his. We still had each other. We will always have each other.